Hi everybody, just two short quick vorts on Parshat Shmini from the Torah Tamima. When the pasuk describes the kashrus of fish, so there's two specific conditions that the pasuk mentions. Snabe rekas kashes, there has to be fins and scales on the fish, and the pasuk adds in a word bamayim, that it needs to be that there is fins and scales on the fish while the fish is in the water. So now one might ask, obviously fish live in the water, so where else would you get the fish from? So it could be that the reason that the pasuk adds in the word bamayim, snaper because kashes bamayim, is that there are certain fish that the Gemara tells us that only have the fins and scales in the water, and once they are caught and lifted out of the water, the fins and scales fall off. And the Gemara says that these are still kasher, and it could be that that's what the pasuk means to say, snaper because kashes bamayim, that all that matters is that the fish should have the fins and scales while they're in the water, and even if they fall off after they're caught, it still does not affect their status, and they're still kosher. Just another interesting thing about this halacha, that fish that have fins and scales in the water are good, even if they fall off afterwards, is that the Aruch, who was the grand Rebbe of Rashi, one of the Rishonim, says an interesting qualification for this din, and that is that it's not enough that you should see the fins and scales in the water. This has to actually be a fish that the Yanei Yisrael, that is his lashon, the judges of Klal Yisrael, the Beis Din has a misora on this this species of fish, that it is a kosher species. So it's a very interesting and peculiar thing that we don't usually find in many other areas, that the Dayanei Yisrael, that Beis Din is involved in the kashrus of a certain species of our animal, and this is something that is unique to fish. And so why would the Aruch say this, that the Dayanei Yisrael, the Beis Din, is involved in the kashrus of fish, that the fins, the specific fish that have fins in the water that fall off? Why would that matter here? So it could be that it is a slight typo over here, and that is that instead of Dayanei Yisrael, the real word was supposed to be Dayage Yisrael, and the Gimel turned into a Nun from a error over time, and that would line up with a similar halacha we find by birds. And the Gemara in Chulin tells us about birds, that a hunter, a tzayid, is Neman. He's believed to say that this is my hunter Rebbe told me that this is a kosher species of birds. He's able to be made, he's able to give his own testimony that his Rebbe confirmed the kosher status of this species of birds. So it could be that the same thing is here with what is going on. That is what the Aruch is telling us about fish, that the Dayage Yisrael, the fishermen, instead of Dayane, it is Dayage, the fishermen of Klal Yisrael, have to know that this is a kosher species of fish, and they should have a misor about this in order to be able to rely on this header of the fish that had the fins and scales in the water and that later fall off. Have a good Shabbos.
I want to take a moment to invite you to our special Night Seder program. Our Aaron and Leah Night Seder program has been endowed to our shul, bringing in outstanding young Talmidei Chachamim to our shul every Monday to Thursday from 8:30 to 9:45 every night of the week, in order to give you the opportunity not just to listen to shirim, but to do your own learning. That means to say you choose, even if it be half an hour a week, you say, I would really like to learn X. I would really like to learn more about Y, and I want to come in. You can find a chevrusa. You'll be assigned your own chevrusa to work through it at your pace, at your level. That's what Night Seder is about. We're shifting from receiving shirim of Torah to learning Torah ourselves. Please join us for our Aaron and Leah Night Seder program. Looking forward to seeing you there shortly.